Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Ma, the syllable ma, which has been associated with the state of Sushupti, the dreamless state. The mantra informs the state of Sushupti or the letter, the syllable ma, as a measure. Measure. We have measuring utensils, measuring tools through which we measure liquids, we also measure grains, etc. So, like a measure, this makara, the syllable M, has been considered by the great exalted one. Why? Because the and u, the waking state and the dream state, where do they come from? They come from the dreamless state, the ma. Okay, where do they dissolve? They dissolve into the sushupti, the ma, the dreamless state. So they rise from the dreamless state, they merge into the dreamless state. Therefore, it has been termed as the measure, which can contain both these states. On the basis of seniority, ma has been given a better status, as the mantra informs us, to go and fetch an understanding. Why go and fetch an understanding? This word I've borrowed specially from the common usage, go and fetch. Whenever we perform any sadhana, any spiritual technique that is practiced, it is done with an objective of some deliverable. And the deliverable aspect of the sadhana of ma, the makara, the syllable ma, is that one who shall practice ma, the sadhana of ma, shall be able to acquire understanding, knowledge of entirety. Entirety shall be able to see what is the actual connivance of the forces of the nature in this subtle dimension that leads to the gross manifestation. Maybe it is in the form of karma gati, the destiny as it unfolds, the karma. Maybe it is in the form of certain other subtle movements that give rise to various kinds of larger moves in the universe. So, whatever is happening in the subtle form that leads to the further gross manifestation can be understood very well by such a seeker who shall go and fetch this understanding by adopting ma syllable as one's own spiritual pursuit. How is the sadhana, the spiritual practice of ma, done? It's twofold. One is by exploring the dreamless state right from the waking itself, by somehow managing absolute awareness without any loss of attention anywhere, and transcending directly from waking to dreamless state. Second, the second way is to deploy the sadhana of ma, om, that resonates and vibrates the entire kapal, the entire skull, entire head, and you continue to practice it for long hours. Then an inner stillness shall come, which will give you such a transition into a dimension which was so far unexplored, uncharted, and one shall be able to then grasp facts that were otherwise elusive to the common surface of the awareness. We also, whenever we conduct such spiritual practices for a duration of more than 6 to 8 to 12 hours, therein we observe a restriction not to practice more of ma. Why so? Because it is deeply understood and well accepted that if you practice the sadhana of makara, then automatically a sense of detachment, vairagya, shall arise from within a seeker. You would easily transcend into the scope of a renunciant. And if you have some mandatory obligation to be dispensed in your life, in the light of your family, children, etc., your profession, then what will happen? A compromise upon the dispensation of your mandatory obligation shall accrue to a larger karmic bondage. Therefore, we discourage and dissuade seekers not to go into the pursuit of the sadhana of ma. It's better that you confine to om. But those that have already accomplished in their lives and have exhausted all their mandatory obligations, whatever was vested upon them has been very well exercised. They are prescribed and encouraged to undergo this sadhana of makara ma. They can very well go, and they do that also. When we observe a sadhana for 12 hours of Omkarnath, there are in between interludes when we also practice in order to gather those moments of deep ecstasy, but that is only a practice that is undertaken as a part to be considered as seldom, not in a routine. In routine, we confine to because we are supposed to live life at the moment in the waking state in order to exercise our responsibilities. So, waking and sleep, they are an outcome of the dreamless state understood as Sushupti. And one who shall understand this by any way, either by a yogic way of transcending from waking to Sushupti directly, or through the sadhana of Makar, shall be able to unravel the mysteries of the gross manifestation and the subtle movements where the cosmic currents flow in order to cherish something at a larger spectrum. So, be it whatever, all this can be accomplished through Ma. That is why it has been assigned a seniority above both the states of the waking and the dream state. And at the same time, it has been not only assigned a seniority, but also given a status to measure them, because both these states can contain into Sushupti. Enough to say about this Makara for the time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti 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 ओम ही सत्य है ओम ही सत्य है ओम ही सत्य है